The palace lights shimmered against the night. Cameras flashed. The world expected politics, diplomacy, and power. But no one expected this, love. Real love. Between two names the world never thought would meet, Baron Trump and Princess Leonor of Spain. The son of America's most controversial family, and the heir to Spain's most historic throne. Two worlds apart. One story that defied reason, borders, and tradition. This is their journey, from secret romance to royal wedding, and the honeymoon that made history. It began quietly, as the greatest stories often do. Far from headlines and royal duties. At an international youth summit in Geneva, where Lita's children gathered to represent a new generation of global voices. Baron Trump, tall, quiet, observant. Princess Leonor, graceful, confident, radiating calm maturity beyond her years. When their eyes met across the crowded hall, it wasn't politics that sparked between them, it was recognition. Two souls burdened by lineage, yet yearning to be seen for who they truly were. They spoke briefly that first evening. About duty, family, freedom. Small talk turned into laughter. Laughter into shared moments. What began as a polite exchange between two heirs of power became something deeper, an understanding that neither had found elsewhere. Both had grown up under unrelenting scrutiny. Both knew what it meant to live in a world built for them, yet never quite their own. As days passed, they met in quiet corners of the summit, away from flashing lenses. The connection was instant, electric, and fragile. They promised to stay in touch, exchanging messages through trusted aides. Their friendship became a lifeline. The world saw their families as symbols of rivalry, America and Europe, politics and monarchy. But for Baron and Leonor, the world outside didn't matter. They were two hearts finding peace in each other. Months turned into years. Leonor entered her royal military training. Baron, pursuing studies in international relations, matured into a poised young man with a reserved strength that mirrored hers. Despite oceans between them, their bond grew stronger. Late-night calls, hidden letters, secret visits in neutral cities. They protected their story like a sacred secret. But secrets in royal life never stay hidden for long. A photograph, an accidental capture of the two walking by a lake in Switzerland, set off a media storm. Tabloids exploded with speculation. The White House refused to comment. Zarzuela Palace remained silent. Yet, the more the world pried, the more their love deepened. Both families faced immense pressure. For Leonor, it was the Spanish royal tradition that frowned upon relationships with political figures. For Barron, it was the weight of American media turning his private life into public theater. Still, they stood firm. Behind closed doors, Leonor made a bold declaration to her father, King Felipe VI. She told him love was not a distraction from duty, it was her strength. Felipe, remembering his own defiance when he chose Letizia, understood. He didn't bless the union yet, but he didn't forbid it either. Barron, too, faced his own reckoning. His mother, Melania, cautious and protective, wanted him shielded from the chaos. His father saw potential political complications. But Barron wasn't interested in politics. He wanted peace, connection, something pure. So, against the odds, they persevered. For 3 years, their relationship matured in secrecy. When Leonor turned 22, Spain was preparing for her ascension as Princess Regent. The pressure on her to appear unattached grew unbearable. Advisors whispered that love could wait. But she knew waiting meant losing herself. In a moment of unshakable resolve, she went public. During an address to the Spanish people, she spoke of love as a human right, not a weakness. Without naming him, the message was clear. The world began to suspect the truth. Soon after, the inevitable happened. A royal statement confirmed what the world already knew. Princess Leonor and Baron Trump were officially engaged. The announcement sent shockwaves through Europe and America alike. Critics called it impossible. Supporters called it revolutionary. The union symbolized more than romance, it was the merging of two worlds that had long stood apart. The wedding preparations became a global phenomenon. Spain's historic Seville Cathedral was chosen for the ceremony. The event would be both royal and diplomatic, with leaders, monarchs, and dignitaries from every continent attending. But for Leonor and Barron, it wasn't about spectacle, it was about love finally stepping into the light. The day arrived. Bells rang through Seville. The streets overflowed with people waving Spanish and American flags side by side. Leonor walked down the aisle in a timeless gown embroidered with the emblems of both nations. Barron waited, his eyes steady, calm, in awe. As she reached him, they smiled, the kind of smile that carries lifetimes of waiting, fear, and finally, peace. Their vows were simple, honest, free of royal language. They spoke as two souls, not two titles. When they exchanged rings, the world paused. History didn't just witness a wedding, it witnessed transformation. For the first time, power bowed to love. The reception blended Spanish elegance with American charm. Flamenco met jazz. The king and queen danced beside the trumps. The world saw unity where division once stood. For a moment, it felt as though borders, titles, and politics faded away. All that remained was love. But the journey didn't end there. After the ceremony, the couple disappeared from the public eye for a time. Their honeymoon became legend, a private escape that no media could penetrate. Sources whispered about their destinations: the Greek islands, a villa in Tuscany, the Maldives. Wherever they went, it was far from the noise. On those quiet shores, they found what years of duty had denied them: normalcy. Walking barefoot, laughing without cameras, watching sunsets not for aesthetics but for meaning. Their honeymoon wasn't about luxury, it was about rediscovery. Leonor painted for the first time in years. Barron wrote poetry. They planned their future not in terms of crowns and titles, but shared purpose. Still, they knew the world awaited their return. When they finally reappeared, they did so hand in hand, stronger than before. Leonor resumed her duties, now as queen in waiting. Barron, by her side, became a silent but steady figure of support. The monarchy evolved under their influence, modern, inclusive, compassionate. Together, they showed that love could coexist with leadership. In time, Spain's citizens grew to adore them. What began as controversy turned into admiration. Their story inspired documentaries, songs, and novels. But what mattered most to them was that their love remained real. Years later, in an intimate interview, Leonor was asked if she ever feared losing her crown for love. She smiled softly and replied, "A crown means nothing if the heart beneath it doesn't beat freely." Barron looked at her with quiet pride, the same look he had that first night in Geneva. And she, the future queen, leaned closer, whispering, "Love made me stronger than any title ever could." Their story became legend, not just a romance, but a testament that love, true love, transcends power, politics, and expectation. They proved that when the world tells you to choose between love and duty, the bravest act is to choose both. From romance to wedding to their journey as partners in life and leadership, Barron and Leonor redefined what it means to be royal. Not distant, not perfect, but deeply human. And somewhere, between the thrones of power and the quiet corners of the heart, their story continues, a timeless reminder that love, when pure and fearless, can indeed rewrite history. Because sometimes, the greatest kingdoms are built not on power, but on love.